Hello everybody, so I just came back on the US, getting used to a new time zone, hence a quick video today about the new year. First of all, Happy New Year. Hopefully 2025 will be even better than 2024, and today's title for the video is New Horizons, New Ideas. And really, it's really much the same as 2024, but perhaps a 2024 on steroid. That is my view for 2025, my general view of what's going to happen. This is not financial advice, of course. This is just entertainment. Let's go. So 2025, I think it will be an outstanding year for Bitcoin. On January 20th, we have a new administration coming, and this will be a catalyst because we keep hearing from the future president himself and from his entourage, people giving him advice, that he will start a Bitcoin reserve and that the US will start buying Bitcoin. If that were to happen, I think this will be absolutely outstanding for the price of Bitcoin and send a signal, send shockwaves through the world of central banks if that were to actually happen. That's point number one for Bitcoin. Point number two, liquidity is going to keep coming in. New money is going to have to be printed at some point, and commercial banks not only print, but also at some point, the Fed's going to have to drop the rates. And I'll get to the Fed in a second. Maybe it will be in 2026. Worst case scenario, in my view, is 2026, because that's when Jay Powell has to leave. But I anticipate there will be a clash between Trump and Powell. There will be a clash like there has been in the past. That's what I anticipate. But eventually, overall, there will need to be new liquidity in the system. There is too much debt in the system, and the rates are just too high. That's point number two. Point number three is FASB. We have the fair value accounting rule change for Q1 of 2025. The whole Bitcoin market is expecting this. And what that means is that companies are now going to be able to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and they're going to be able to mark them to market. So they're going to be able to show a profit whenever there is a profit, an accounting profit, and they're not going to do indefinite intangible where they could only mark it down. And so I think this is going to unlock a wave of Bitcoin adoption for the balance sheet of many corporations. And I think there's something like about 70 different companies right now that own Bitcoin on their balance sheet in the United States. Out of the 8,000-ish companies that are public, more than 70 right now hold Bitcoin. I see this only going in one direction, up and more. MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy, in my view, it will continue to puzzle the market. Had a lot of free time flying back. Spent a lot of time listening to more stuff about MicroStrategy. There will be more videos coming about new concepts, new ideas. I actually purchased some more MicroStrategy recently when it was dropping in the high 280s. To me, this company deserves to trade at a price to NAV of above a 1. The answer to me is a clear yes. It deserves to trade higher. Many reasons for that. You could look at it as a common stockholder and you could say, well, he's going to accumulate Bitcoin on my behalf and so it's worth it. That's an aspect you could take. You could also say, oh, well, the price of 2 NAV is going to go up. It's going to move from a 1.8, which it is right now, to a 5, and the price to NAV expansion, there's going to be multiple expansion and I'm going to make money that way. That's what some people could say. I argue some people own MicroStrategy just because they want to sell call options on it. They want the price to NAV of MicroStrategy cannot be won because the demand for this stock is just too high, because people want to own the stock to write options on it and make income on it. And I went back and listened to the conference calls again of Saylor. He explains this very, very clearly. People want to own the stock and they could not care less that he does Bitcoin. He could do whatever. What they care about is the volatility, because you can write call options on your underlying shares thanks to that volatility. And I bet some of you who watch my Bitcoin videos or my MicroStrategy videos, you probably just watch it because you want to hear about the volatility machine that is MicroStrategy. And so if you look, of course, one of the ETF that does this for you is MSTY, and it's had 140% yield. So if you held that stock for something like 6 months, you've already made up. Even if it dropped 50%, if you make 100%, you already make up for the loss. Of course, the problem with these income option strategies, with these selling call option strategies, the problem is that you have a limited upside. You have a capped upside, but in exchange for that capped upside, people are able to earn a very high yield. And if you know anything about YouTube and hanging out on finance YouTube, you know that people love yield. Like, if I wanted to have a popular YouTube channel, I would be talking about dividend stocks. That's what people love. A lot of people understand the idea of getting a check, even though in my view it makes no sense. It makes much more sense to hold an asset that appreciate and borrow against it, hence the name of the channel, be the denominator. But to some people, they just wanted to get a check. And so this is very appealing. This volatility is very appealing to a wild crowd of investors. And you may be surprised, or probably not if you watch my channel, but there's people that own stocks in other sectors that also, they don't care about the underlying business. They just own it to write options. Another one is Tesla. Some people just own Tesla. They may not be the biggest believer in Tesla, but it's so volatile, they want to own it and they want to write options. And if you do that, you see the yield max ETF gets to 117%. Another one is SMCI, and in the version of ETF is SMCY. They own it because of the volatility, because they can write options on it, and they could care less about liquid cooling. They just want the stock that is spinning fast. They just want the highly rotating stock, the highly volatile stock, the stock that is exciting in the financial markets. They want to own it, and that's why volatility equals liquidity. That's why Saylor is able to tap the ATM again and again and again and charge a premium, get money in, turn it into Bitcoin, and that's why keeping the volatility alive is so important to understanding MicroStrategy. And I personally love the upsides and love the drawdowns. And yes, we've been in a drawdown for a few weeks, but come on, look back. If you look back, look at the explosive upsides we've had. It's been quite stunning in my view. And so that volatility will continue. The stock will keep being volatile. And so if you do that, then your price to NAV is going to be above a 1 because people want to own it, just because it's a volatile stock that you can put in your options writing machine. You write options on a portfolio that is charged with MSTR. Well, that means that you can make more money because it's a higher spin, higher volatility, higher oscillating asset, if that makes some sense. So I anticipate MicroStrategy will keep being as popular. Now let's talk about trend number 2. Trend number 2 is AI. In my view, the other narrative beyond Bitcoin this 2025 will be AI, and it will continue to be AI, because you can rightfully argue, at least up until the election, where Bitcoin had done okay, but Bitcoin really exploded towards the end of 2025. Well, that's my recency bias here. You could argue that most of 2024 was characterized by AI. It was the year of AI. Only the end of 2024 was Bitcoin. I think 2025 will continue to be the year of AI. AI is the hottest sector right now. It is the creation of digital intelligence. The AI agents, of course, are the next wave of AI, the replacement of employees by AI agents, the whole idea that, as Jensen says, right, CEO of NVIDIA, NVIDIA is going to keep growing. We have 30,000 employees now. We anticipate having 60,000 employees in 10 years. And these employees, by the way, will control 100 million AI agents, right? 60,000 employees that control 100 million AI agents. And so I think that's going to be the next wave of AI, which is companies are just going to onboard AI agents, and you will have biological humans, the employees, the most expensive labor, your best employees. They will be orchestrating, there will be organizing the labor with a bunch of AI agents working under them. One biological employee, 100 AI agents that helps them in their work. That's the big step, and that whole step is powered by hardware. And so the clear hardware winner right now is NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I was a fool. I sold it early, and it is a mistake, and I think about getting back into NVIDIA often. On my research list right now And now that I'm back in the US, I will have more time. On my research list right now is AMD and researching AMD. So expect a full of analysis of AMD, researching of AMD. There's a lot of chatter around AMD. I typically don't like buying number 2, right? That's why I never bought Rivian. I bought Tesla. I never bought Rivian. I was never compelled by the number 2. Likewise, I never owned AMD. I was owning NVIDIA, but then I sold it, And that's also why. My experience is why I don't sell Palantir. Palantir is overvalued on everything you see. But if we enter an entire new paradigm of how companies are run, of what enterprise software means, an entirely new paradigm of what even an ERP means, the company run by the software, and the software orchestrates organizational action with AI agents. And so the company turns into a biological system with bosses and employees to a biological system with bosses and AI agents. And at the end of the day, maybe the extreme version of that is at the end of the day, all you're left is with the executive team, is all you're left with. So that would be such an insane paradigm shift that, again, Palantir is very, very overvalued. I haven't found the framework to analyze Palantir where I don't find it overvalued, but I am very wary about selling it because I made that mistake with NVIDIA. AI follows different criteria, just like Bitcoin follows different criteria. It requires new ways of thinking about finance. And of course, my stealth play in AI, by the way, is Tesla, because Tesla, in my view, has a thriving auto business. It's got a currently thriving auto business, and that auto business cash flows, and it pays for the AI endeavors such as Tesla FSD, Tesla Autobidder for their Tesla Energy division, Tesla Optimus, which is still loved at. I think Optimus will still be loved at by mainstream finance throughout 2025. We might have to wait until 26 or 27 for people to stop laughing at Optimus. And of course, another underappreciated area of Tesla is AI-created industrial design. If you follow Tesla, you know a lot of the things that they design, a lot of the product, the factories, the engines, the molds, the castings, it's all designed with the help of AIs. And if you follow NVIDIA talks a lot about that. NVIDIA already uses AI to design the chips, right? Tesla uses AI to design the cars, the robotaxis, the apps, etc., etc., etc. So I view Tesla as still a stealth AI play for much of the market, but definitely not a stealth AI play to me. And the last company I want to discuss really briefly is Google. Google, of course, is this hybrid. Gemini, in my view, is a high performing AI. I have a lot of praise for Gemini, even though I prefer Grok and I prefer Musk's AI. But what they've done with quantum computing is very impressive. What they've done with AlphaFold is very impressive. I have little doubt that Google is a leader in AI along with Palantir. And SMCI, heavily discussed stock. I own SMCI. I was buying it during the major accounting fears. I think they will benefit from Blackwell, even though SMCI has also been sold off. A lot of these stocks have been sold off recently, somewhat. Tesla held up pretty well, I suppose, and Palantir too, but a lot of these stocks have been sold off, and so that's just the nature of the end of the year. Everybody was selling off, tax loss harvesting, shifting into new positions before the year end. That's what happens with the volatility towards Christmas time. And the last point I wanted to discuss was the Fed. And I'm surprised I'm saying this. I wish, and you may remember my victory video about the Fed finally dropping rates in September, and I was all happy. And I wish I could say we'll stop commenting on the Fed every month in 2025. And that really was my thought in September. And I guess I was wrong. If you listen to Powell's speech at the last 25 basis point rate cut, he was hawkish. It's just my opinion, right? It's no financial advice, but you could feel that he was angry and he wanted to hurt the demand. He wanted to hurt the economy. And so that's why I think there's going to be a feud, because he's willing to destroy as much as he can to get inflation at 2%. Inflation has to be 2%. Trueflation says inflation is 2.7%. Religion does not allow for inflation to be 2.7%. Religion says inflation has to be 2%. And so that is why I think he was annoyed, angry, and that is also why I think there will be a feud, a fight between the new president-elect and unelected Chairman Jerome Powell. I think there will be a fight between these two. Well, by Twitter, right, by X, but I think they will clash, even though many mainstream articles seem to say, oh, they're not going to clash. I don't know. I actually went back and read some of the old 2018 commentary and back and forth between Trump and Powell, and Trump saying how Powell was his biggest mistake, and that he doesn't like anything he does, not even a little bit. Like it's anyways. So I think that feud may reignite. I may be wrong. Either way, at this point, the term expires in May 2026. So at this point, it's yet another year, right? But who knew in 2021 that we would still be with the same stubborn Fed in 25 now? Who knew in 2021 that was going to happen? It's entirely unpredictable. So we comment on it, but it's entirely unpredictable. What I know is that the Fed has been doing a very good job, absolutely wonderful job at destroying demand in the economy. They've killed so many innovative companies. Ask Cathie Wood, ask any of the stocks she had, but not even beyond Cathie Wood. He's also allowed us to buy stocks on the cheap. That's the good thing of the matter. But I do think he's killed a lot of very innovative companies that would have been very good for society. He's obviously killed real estate. People are stuck. People can't move. Real estate is a catastrophe. He's obviously finishing a lot of the indebted companies. The pharmacies with a debt are not doing well. So many companies with a bunch of debt are not doing well. And he's obviously hurting a lot of lower income household or multiple jobs household. Any household that relies on consumer debt, like credit card debt, car financing debt, I don't know, medical debt, whatever. Any household that relies on more consumer-like debt is really, really being hurt by this. And so they've been doing a very, very good job at that. He would have also done an excellent job at destroying many, many banks, but he decided to save the banks with a $150 billion bailout in the form of BTFP. So he decided to save the banks. But if you're that household that's struggling because XYZ reason, or if you're that person who can't move on in your job because you're upside down on the real estate and you can't switch jobs, in that case he's done a good job. But no, the banks were fine, and this is why I view a too big to fail institution as very, very interesting. And when we discuss Bitcoin yield, talking back about Saylor and him earning a yield 20, 30 and beyond, what do we mean by Bitcoin yield? Well, we mean lending the Bitcoin to a too big to fail bank, because there is such a thing as an institution that is too big to fail, and that is a bank, right? You're Sears, you're a storied retail store. You've been around for 100 years. You've innovated commerce. You go bankrupt. Nobody cares about you. But if you're a bank, that's a different matter, isn't it? So, anyways, it seems, based on everything that he's telegraphing, it seems that we're going to have a tough 2025 when it comes to the rates, and it seems like we're going to have lower rates, but at a lower pace. So maybe only 2 rate cuts, maybe only 3 25 basis point rate cuts in 2025. When we need a 2% rate cut 10 months ago. So, anyways, it's just the way it is. I'm a Bitcoin bull. I'm a Bitcoin believer. I believe the cost of money should be described by an algorithm that cannot be changed by anybody. But that's a problem when you have a dollar system where the cost of money is defined by someone who can just single-handedly change it. Well, there's a committee, but you know what I mean. At the end of the day, this guy is the most powerful guy in the economy. He has much more impact on raises and your job and the quality of the markets than any other single person out there. And so that's why I expect some of the nonsense to continue in 2025, unfortunately, but a feud, in my view, will happen between the new president-elect and Powell, and that will be interesting. That will be a commentary. Anyways, I'm thankful to Powell for the deals. He's given us some deals. I'm thankful for that. This was not financial advice, not investment advice. This is just entertainment, hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.